this room was packed with people that were PO'd at us because they'd lost their water and everything. I mean, there was.
You draw that down too much, the points are losing water.
That happened during the Goldbeal boat launch construction, right?
It did. This room was packed with some ugly folks.
I love it, because I drive new points, and if you start it down, you have to 6 or 8 inches. Put in more water.
I did that as an FYI to you folks.
Good evening and welcome to the June 27th meeting of the Board of Selectmen. Everybody rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm sorry we got going a little bit late tonight. Before we start, just would like to recognize our newest member of the board, Mr. Doyle, and welcome back for his re-election, Mr. Woodson. So,
Thank you, Dennis.
guys, welcome for another 3 eventful years.
Thank you.
With that, item number 2, election of chair and vice chair. I would open the floor to nominations.
I nominate Dennis Abbott as chair.
Seconded. Will you accept it, Dennis?
Anybody? I will do it. I will do it. I don't have a problem doing it as long as, I mean, I don't want to grab it if somebody else has an interest, but any other nominations?
Nomination cease.
I'll second that.
Move nomination C for the position of chair. There's been a nomination to put Selectman Abbott into nomination and a second. All those in favor? Opposed?
You don't
I
have
guess
to
I
vote.
was-
You
I
don't
guess-
have to vote, Dennis.
Now for open nominations for vice chairman for the year
Is
ensuing.
it a 5-0 or a 401 vote for you?
Make it 5.
Okay.
So I'd open the floor for vice chair. Don't all speak at once.
I nominate Tim Neal as vice chair.
Okay. Any seconds to Tim?
You're swallowing, Tim.
Do I have a second on Tim Neal?
No seconds.
I'll second it.
Any other nominations? Assuming none, I would move, I guess I would move that nominations cease.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second for Tim Neal to become vice chairman for the year ensuing. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 5.
Thank you.
You're welcome, and thanks for the, I don't want to say that.
Now Dennis is gonna tell you when he's going on vacation.
Thanks, no, I think vacation's a thing of the past for me, but, all right. No public hearing tonight. Any announcements from the board?
Just like to extend the board's congratulatory message to the M.R.S.A lacrosse team for winning the state championship.
Yeah.
Job well done. They had a perfect season.
And the only other thing that, and we did not put it on the agenda, but we have an appointment to make to the school board, right?
Yes.
So we should, so if anybody's,
I got a question on that.
yeah,
Mrs. Mayo at candidates night said that she was willing to run for a 3-year term. So she did announce here that she would be a candidate.
yeah.
Now, if she got any write-ins, those should be legal write-ins.
No, she wasn't a
Because-
declared write-in candidate for that.
She
other job.
declared that she would be a write-in, and she did it in front of you.
Right,
so-
but she can't do that. She
If
has to
you-
be a declared write-in candidate on the day that the paper submission
But she
deadline.
did, she was in the office and declared that she would run as a write-in. So she did do that in front of you, which you are the town clerk. So if she got any write-ins, we can appoint her to the,
You get Christine in here if you want the same situation out of her, because she, at the time the submissions for signatures had gone by, and the candidate's night was well past that, she had to be a declared write-in candidate that she was.
okay. Now here's the other scenario on that. If she's willing to take the 3-year term, I would recommend that the board appoint her to the 3-year term and start looking for a 1-year term candidate.
I guess that's up to her if she wants to resign, what she
I
was
mean, she
elected
would have to resign, but she can do that all in front of us here. And we can appoint her at the same time.
Well, the point is that we need at least another
We need a.
director.
Yeah,
We need a director, so we
but
can,
here's a girl that's been,
she's done 3 years.
done 3 years, and she's willing to do another 3 years. And she made that announcement at the candidates night. She had taken the 1-year term because of other commitments, which have been and gone, I believe. That was
Okay.
the conversation I had with her, but
All right, let's just sort out whether or not we should advertise for interested candidates for the 3-year term. If she happens to be one of them, then
Sure.
we'd have to deal with it.
Let's see if we have time to legally advertise and still put it on the agenda for 2 weeks for tonight.
Yeah, because the sooner the better. We need to get another representative.
RSU 57 school board appointment.
Okay, we probably could have carried that, discussed that in appointments, but that's fine. Okay, anything else on that? Any other announcements? Any additions or deletions to the agenda? Sensing none, we'll move on to, we have no appointments. Any public comment this evening by Jack or Bridget?
I could find something to say.
Correspondence, treasurer's report, motor vehicle excise tax reports, and the Parks and Rec Department update are all, have been sent to the selectmen for, if anybody's interested in reading those. Reports and staff initiatives, selectmen's reports. Start down this end tonight. Dwayne, anything?
yeah, the Route 5 bridge is now open.
It is?
They opened it Saturday afternoon to 2 lanes of traffic. The temporary is, when I went up through last night, they was hooking onto the I-beams and ready to pick them out. The deckings have been moved to another job site. They probably will be there another 3 to 4 weeks at least, just shaping things up and but that is a project that's almost complete, so.
Okay. Anything else, Dwayne?
I'll think of it for the evenings out here.
Tim?
The planning board and the planning staff have finished their draft ordinance revision. Really cleaned it up. They're gonna have a public hearing and then they'll be passing it on to us, and that could lay the groundwork for maybe looking at the villages and doing things that were suggested by the comprehensive plan. It was a lot of work. They spent a lot of time. I think they did a good job.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Anything else, Tim?
No, thank you.
I won't ask you.
Don't call him John.
Almost said John.
I wouldn't respond.
Gordon. Anything, Gordon?
I had something on the top of my head, but it's.
Well, if you think of it, bring it up, so.
Yep.
It's not like we've got hundreds of items here on the agenda.
Not much there anymore, because
Do you have anything, Ted, you would like to discuss?
I just thought I would ask, next week is Old Home Days weekend. Are the selectmen planning to do anything as far as a parade? Participating in it?
Oh, when you say, yeah, next weekend, not this weekend.
Right. Yeah, follow,
It's
the
the
week
weekend
after.
after. I think there's a standing offer for us to be in the parade.
Which would be, what, Saturday morning, the 8th, right?
Right.
Yes.
I usually pass out oodles of candy.
Yeah.
The selectman on the end is running the gate at Ospey Valley Fair, so he's not, usually misses the Old Home Days.
And I know last year, Tim kind of like showed up and go, I grabbed him to get him to go with us.
I think it's traditional for the new selectmen to ride along with Dennis and hand out candy.
Touche.
Well, we put two of us on one of those carts there.
I'll go in my truck, how's that?
The cart vendor is out of business, so.
Oh, is he?
Last I knew, they don't
Oh,
know
they
where
don't
they're
have
coming
cart.
from, so maybe walking.
Well,
they
they
were
get a
gonna
convertible.
They were gonna rent cars.
Okay. All right.
I do want to say thank you to all these firemen in York County for the tremendous job that they did over in Sanford the other
Yep.
night.
That's what I had on the top of my mind.
Just need
It was quite an event, to say the least.
a lot of thanks.
Our bus went over there to help cool people off too, so that was good.
And from what I understand from speaking with them, that bus was a very big hit, particularly one accommodation located in the rear of that bus was,
Yep.
Good.
It takes all types of equipment to fight a fire that size, so.
yeah, they put over 1 million gallons of water in it.
Anything else? Where was I? Oh, yeah.
Seven.
Anything else? Tim?
No.
I did go to the EcoMaine annual meeting, which was held last, 2 weeks ago Thursday, and had an interesting speaker from Vermont that talked more about the economics associated with recycling, not necessarily, hey, let's get it out of the waste stream. And it was interesting that he talked about the glass and how from an economics, doesn't make any sense to recycle glass other than to take it out of the waste stream, because
Makes good fill.
it costs just as much with crushed glass to make new glass than it does with raw materials. But it was interesting anyway. He had a different, they did
Quite a
different.
program on TV the other night that guys making countertops and different stuff out of
Yeah.
recycling glass. And
Yeah, in the EcoMaine conference area, the little kitchenette has got crushed glass in the countertop and whatnot. If you've ever been in.
they're using a lot of that glass for sandblasting now.
So we have the seat on the executive board this year. We rotate that between the now the four York County towns, so it's our turn this year. So that means that we go to the 9 full-up meetings, or the regular meetings plus the executive committee meetings. So, and we represent the the other 4 towns, the other 3 towns. It goes to Leamington next year, and then John Tibbetts was representing us last year. So. Okay, Gary?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I guess I'll be exceedingly brief. We're going to talk about the election later. I'll save some comments in my update for that. Ospey, Bridgedale, Dwayne covered that. That's good. And over the next couple of months, we need to resolve any prohibition or regulation language on the marijuana ordinances, and that's part of our item 10C tonight. We have a scheduled goals workshop just for our folks' information, Tuesday, July 18th in this room at 6 o'clock. And right now, the only thing on the agenda is Selectmen's goals. And just an update, Deering Ridge Road drainage work is either done today or will be probably tomorrow.
Yeah, they were just cleaning up.
The actual ditching and then a little bit of cleanup for the rest of the week, but certainly done by the end of this week. So the project will truly be done this week. And that's it from me.
Okay.
I can provide an update on the water level petition if you so desire, but we can do that at another time also.
Well, I think your update that you sent out was pretty informative, so I think it's going to be imperative that we show up at that hearing, in force, if we need to. And I don't know, do we want to have a workshop, or I know you suggested that, but
Well, we could certainly do that on the 18th.
I don't know what's the gain out of that other than to just make people aware.
If you wanted to try and have a compromise to have the petition withdrawn, now's the time to have that discussion. Or if this board wants to defend our present situation and go forward, hoping that DEP keeps the same levels. The nice thing about having the petition withdrawn and a compromise is that DEP will not be setting the lake level in perpetuity. If we go to that hearing, they set the level. We have no idea what they will do. We have pretty strong evidence and pretty good history since '69. We've had the same lake levels, but they will control it, and we will no longer control it.
So have we gone back to Natalie relative to, is she still strongly opposed to us putting in an ordinance?
Well, she said we can certainly do that. It's not the best constructed statute in the world because it was never written with the town owning the dam ruling against itself. So she said if the board wants to continue to go forward with an ordinance, it probably would be smart to actually form a dam committee, probably 3 people, that would go and manage the dam at the direction of the selectmen, and it would receive comment and retribution, if you will, from the selectmen if they didn't like what the dam committee was doing, rather than the selectmen trying to tell themselves what to do, and selectmen admonish themselves if they don't like what they're doing to themselves.
But if the ordinance is there, then that ends any future involvement by the DEP as well, right?
That's my understanding. How that fits in with stopping this petition now, I don't know, but you can certainly find out easy enough. She was in court today, so I couldn't talk to her today.
Well, if I remember back 10 years ago, which is getting to be a stretch, but I thought that the fact that we had that in the works was pretty much satisfying the DEP at that point in time. But
Do you think that's why DEP dropped it, because they thought we were pursuing an ordinance?
I know that they knew that.
I'll tell you, they have no idea why this was never pursued. I asked them at the meeting last Friday, and they just said through a variety of situations or whatever words they used, it was kind of nebulous.
But they said that it was on their end.
Yeah, it was their fault. And they never mentioned
Oh, it was
the ordinance from our end
No.
was the reason that this was dropped. It was personnel, retirement.
Changes.
I think it
resignation,
would be nice to
competence,
at least get, I mean, we've got a little over, well, almost 2 months, right, before that hearing. It would be nice to know whether or not if the board accepts an ordinance or puts in place an ordinance, does that kill everything?
Yep. Oh, I'll find that out probably before sundown tomorrow.
And I realize that I know that Natalie had her pros and cons about the town controlling itself, but maybe you're right, maybe we put together a 3-person dam committee and they do whatever, and if people make recommendations to them, I guess they would say yes, no, or whatever, right?
That's true. I'll find out that question, but I think collectively here, certainly the 11th should be the decision time on whether or not you want staff to pursue anything in terms of a hearing for the public at this point in time, a meeting with the petitioners, a workshop for a compromise, any of those types of things we should do 2 weeks from tonight at the latest, I think. So anything that's going to be done can be done by August 1st.
Okay.
And if we do nothing and if we defend ourselves, that's what staff needs to know. Anything I left out from what you heard on Friday? Tim was there.
No, it's just if we don't do anything, they'll take over.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, even though the statute is, when you put in an ordinance, it might be cumbersome. It's still better than 10 years from now having another board say, oh, the DEP found something that they never dealt with, and they're going to come down and run a hearing. I mean, it at least drives some finality to it.
Stops that.
And this isn't the first time, or this first issue, that the DEP comes back after 8 or 10 years and says, oh, we found a piece of paper and something's going on. I mean, that goes back to the lagoons and the leather mill and all kinds of different things that.
49 petitioners on this petition to drop that level. How many of them are residents or own property on
They're all property owners
of Ospey?
At the time.
in 2007.
Okay.
About
There are some issues with the petitions.
Yeah.
Some worn off.
Yeah.
you know.
Well, it's amazing that 49 signed it and only one showed up to the public hearing.
She's the
So,
spokesman.
She was the only one that was really invited. Others could have come, but
Yeah.
she's the name on the petition.
This would have been a public, I mean, public is open to
Yeah.
go here. When they have a public hearing, anybody can go. So
Yeah.
if anybody was really interested, they would have been there. If it was a
Well, it wasn't a
concern.
public hearing. It was open to the public,
Yeah.
but they could have, you're right.
All right, so why don't we put it on the 11th, and I just don't, I mean, we can have that discussion, the 5 of us. I'm not I don't think that we should attempt to compromise at all. So I think let's talk to Natalie about if we gotta put some provisions in an ordinance. Let's put the ordinance together and get it done.
Lake level petition update or discussion.
All right. Let's move on to new business.
Yeah. How about having a public hearing on this? We'll probably fill this room.
This room's not big enough.
No.
Well, we can do that, we need
decide
to
what you
wanna
at
do
least decide what we're gonna do on the 11th, which is 2 weeks from now. And then it still gives us time to have a
This would
public hearing.
allow everybody on the lake to know what is in front of the selectmen. That's all
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
But we can set that next,
Yeah.
in the next meeting.
Yeah.
All right, on the new business, accept the resignation from the Planning Board and Public Safety Committee. We have this very sad commentary where
I'll
a
make a-
gentleman is an elected selectman, so he can't serve on those 2 boards.
I'll make a motion that we accept Ted Doyle's resignation to the planning board and the public safety committee.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept Mr. Doyle's well-written resignation from the Waterboro Planning Board and the Public Safety Committee due to the favorable election results of June 13th. All those in favor? Opposed? You're off the hook, buddy. The 4-0.
You up 401? You abstaining or voting?
I'm staying.
401. And I would have said with regrets, but I think we'd rather have you here now that you've run through that gamut. All right, discuss and vote on committee appointments for terms to expire June 30th, 2020. Well, they're expiring this year, right? So we're reappointing them through 2020 now, correct?
Right, and you also have new appointments
Right.
and staff appointments.
So the following persons wish to be reappointed to the various boards and committees for terms to expire June 30th, 2020. Everybody has that. I'm not gonna read through that unless you want me to. But,
That's agenda 10B, correct?
Yes.
I will make a motion that we accept the list of people that want to be reappointed to Board of Review, Budget Committee, Community Gardens, Conservation Committee, Library Board of Trustees, Old Home Days, Parks and Rec Committee, Planning Board, Road Review, and Zoning Board of Appeals. All of the names that are listed on that.
okay, do I have a second to that?
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. So everybody on that sheet 10B, the new appointments now. Zoning Board of Appeals, Library Board of Trustees, Community Garden term. The Zoning Board and Library Board of Trustees are folks coming back, even though they're new. So Kurt Clayson is going on the ZBA, and Bridget McCallum is going on the Library Board of Trustees. So do I have a motion on those two?
I make a motion to appoint.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Kurt Classen on the Zoning Board of Appeals, and Bridget McCallum back on the Library Board of Trustees. All those in favor?
You want to include Oksana?
Opposed? I'll do that now.
Okay.
Okay, we have a new member that's going on to the Community Garden term that we interviewed tonight. Oksana Sigleski. Did I say that right? Oksana Sigleski. To the Community Garden for a term to expire June 30th, 2020. Do I have a motion?
Go ahead and do
Been
that.
moved by Ted. Do I have a second?
Seconded, Dennis.
A second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Staff appointees, which are kind of, still required, but we hire them on it anyway. Staff appointees, code enforcement officer, deputy code enforcement officer, licensed plumbing inspector. So Glenn Charette is our code officer and licensed plumbing inspector. James Allaire is the deputy code enforcement officer. Patty McKenna
Kenna.
as deputy code enforcement officer, and same as deputy licensed plumbing inspector, both James and Patty.
I move to reappoint as stated by the chair.
Okay, it's been moved. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Anything else there?
Just for the people at home, that's Alfred's inspector and lineman's inspector that we're using for
Backups.
backups or deputy code enforcement and plumbing inspectors.
Primarily for vacations.
Yeah.
All right, new business, 10C, discuss all results of June 13th election, including specific next steps on the 5 marijuana questions. I guess we weren't alone with all the marijuana stuff, huh?
No.
It's
So
just
let's talk about the elections. I think speak for themselves, right? The referendum questions, right, wrong, or indifferent. We now are out of the business of holding June town meetings, at least until somebody tries to reverse that or attempts to reverse it. I think it was good to see that it didn't just squeak by. It was a fairly substantial vote that did that. The referendum on the bond still gets me more perplexed because we're almost a dead heat tie. For the second time, it was a little more pronounced when it was a $2 million bond. Now it's almost a dead heat, and it's $750,000 bond. So I'm not sure where those, you and Matt and the staff have got to, certainly some of that stuff I think we need to deal with sooner than later, and we're not going to bond some of it very obviously. So
Well,
we
I
need to
think
fix some of it.
some of it goes in the operations budget, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's not until July 1st of 2018. So we'll do what we can. We're going to have the ridge vent fixed hopefully this week, and that's a small job. We have some doors, and that'll be done in the next fiscal year that they have to be replaced. That can be out of existing funds. So we'll do what we can, but we won't be creating the decontamination repair or doing the other big things, obviously. We'll do what we can.
Supposedly, there's quite a bunch of grant money out there on this decontamination facilities. And I've been told that by more than one. But several of the municipalities have got under this grant on decontamination.
Do you know what pot of money it's from?
I don't.
I think FEMA would have something for that.
The 5 marijuana questions, I guess, jump into that. Okay, so we need an ordinance. Isn't this a simple ordinance?
This is just an ordinance change. This is a sentence in section 3
Right.
that, it's
Says
not a
that-
standalone ordinance at all.
They're prohibited.
Yes. In section, I think, 301, 3.01, there would be a sentence or two. Lee J's already drafted up. I think I forwarded it to you back
Yep.
along. Essentially, it's all done, so.
So, I mean, if we're gonna change that, it's gonna go, I mean, typically, we would toss that to the planning board for an opinion, right?
Yes. Yep.
Do they have to run a public hearing?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if it's in the zoning ordinance, they're supposed to start, so.
Okay.
Then we gotta have a public hearing to change it, correct?
Yeah,
You both would.
yeah, they would run one.
They'll
then we
have
would
one,
run.
and then we gotta run one after.
So, you okay with me sending that on to the planning board?
Yeah, I think,
Yeah. I'll make that a motion.
Second it.
okay, been moved and seconded to move the request to the planning board to include the prohibition of retail, I guess that was the word, right? Retail.
All 5, yeah.
All 5 retail marijuana
Okay.
is defined as retail, I guess. Any discussion on that? All those in favor? Opposed?
5-0, thank you.
5-0.
Good, we'll get that started, and that'll be quick.
Let me just quickly, I know there were a couple of things that spiked up, and I think Gary had them pretty well covered in the note that he put out to everybody, but stuff that kind of came out of town meeting. I think that, and one of them was kind of in and around the economic development and the planning. So I think as we get into goals, our goal discussions, we ought to talk about what is it we want to do with, do we want to go back to a full-time town planner, do we want to, that would have two hats instead of a specific hat, and those things, so. A couple other small issues that came up as well, but more importantly is, we need to really put together some thought of how are we going to present to the taxpayers as we get ready to go into a referendum, and how big does that ballot look?
It's gonna be scary
So maybe
for a
it's,
lot of people.
You can condense it into one article if you want to. I don't think we should do that.
No, I don't either. The thing that I somehow we need to, for the people that have a very hard time reading and writing, we've got to have some type of a secret or a private room so that somebody can go in and read these ballots to them so that they can understand it. Not convince them how to vote, but to give them time, and you're supposed to now, but
well, we can, I think we can officially do that, right? We can have,
We already do that when
Yeah.
somebody has a problem, but
Yeah.
we sometimes, I think she'll bring them in here.
yeah. But
so that really needs to be.
we need to advertise that too, that it's, nobody needs to know who can't, who can, but it's something that we
It's
need
just,
to.
in the final analysis, we stop having the meeting, but it means a lot more upfront
Yeah.
communications with the folks. So. All right,
But what about the idea of creating a disc through the visual arts place over in Hollis, that where we can have members of the Board of Selectmen or whatever read the articles, and then rather than having people have to admit that they can't read or they can't understand, we just say you can drop by and pick up this CD and pop it in your DVD or your computer, whatever, and it will.
or I think Dave could put something online that if you had a question about Article 10, which might include,
Yeah.
say, the fire department, you could just go click on it and you'd get a dissertation of what's everything that's in that article, right? And it would be live on a computer, right, rather than putting a dish in.
Well, I'm thinking that not everybody has a computer at their house, but most people have a DVD player.
You could probably do that, and I would think that we could set up a station or two at the library if we had to, and even if they're temporary. But we need to talk that through. But we're not gonna-
The other thing that standing outside, there was several comments that they haven't seen anything on town meeting, public hearings, or anything in the Smart Shopper. We haven't advertised in that for quite a while as far as any public hearings or meetings, any of that. But have we stopped as far as the town of Waterboro goes to?
Oh, if we have a public hearing, it's in there. Yeah, I mean,
Well, I went to the Smart Shop because I put that ad in
Yeah.
for a thank you. We have not paid for an ad since the 15th of November. So we missed the whole town meeting agenda out of that paper that goes to every box. The reporter, you gotta go somewhere and pick it up. And I think we missed a lot of our communications by not advertising in the Smart Shopper.
okay.
I think the more we do, the better. So that we get to the end and we know that we've done everything we could.
Well, it'll be a challenge, and I think, this won't be the last discussion that we have about different ways that we can do it either.
Well, since we're on this, I wouldn't mind hearing your thoughts about consolidating. For instance, to go in and take codes, assessing, planning, similar things like that. You take 3 articles and make one. You think that's a good or a bad idea this first time?
I think it's a good
I
idea.
think when we get down to this, we're gonna have to consolidate some of these. Somehow, we're gonna have to separate it in the article, but it's gonna be a bottom figure.
Yeah, and I think going with this, when we load this trio for this coming budget, I think we need to look at those items that are gonna come out of Parks and Rec and stuff, kind of to start to roll up or create a hierarchy account that says this is the Public Works Director, these are all the things that come under.
There's gonna be 3 or 4 different
Right.
titles.
Maybe it's just a matter of changing those departments so that it's sequential or something, but,
It might take the next year to sort that out.
well, I would think a lot of it's gonna be,
Should be right there.
to me, it's a simple change in the account, right?
I would think so.
I get waving in the back there.
I'm sorry. It would be similar to what you've got right now. You could do it with what you got with your fire departments, the
Right.
subcode.
When we married the 2 fire departments, or the EMA and the, or EMS,
The regular fire
and- right,
with the rescue.
with the
unit.
rescue,
You just made a
it
subdivision.
just became it's one department now,
Right.
right?
Oh, that's what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
I misread.
Yeah,
So
so you
could
take
do that.
you take Parks, you take Public
We're gonna
Works,
take the lawn care out of the public works, out of the Parks and Rec and put it into the public works.
right,
And some of the maintenance, or all of the maintenance at the transfer station and all of the maintenance on these
yeah,
buildings.
even if you got certainly you can change or put in a plug in the old, the trio in the old account that says move to account XYZ, right?
Yes.
So,
We had some sample ballots last year. We had one, I think, from Kennebunk that was pretty simple.
yeah.
Then we had one from Hollis that was more complicated. I mean,
Yeah, well, this
there's
is the
examples.
longest one that Hollis has had, and,
Yeah, theirs, I think, is at the other extreme.
yeah, when I was,
My biggest concern with going this way with a vote is people are gonna get in there and they're on a time frame. And they got 10 minutes or 20 minutes before they gotta head for work.
yep,
They're on a lunch break.
yep,
And they're gonna go down through and vote on 2 or 3 of them. There's gonna be a lot of them that they ain't gonna vote on. And some of them, they're either gonna get a yes or a no vote, according on how they feel that day. No,
Well-
no, or yes, yes.
You mean at the polls or beforehand?
At the polls.
Because beforehand, we're gonna have conversations with everybody out there.
Right, but
It's gonna take a while.
the people that are gonna vote on a Tuesday in June, if they haven't got the time to go in there and stand for 20 minutes or a half an hour and read them and have not been educated, then you're either gonna get somebody voting all yes, or somebody just going in and voting no, and not understand what they've actually voted
yeah,
on.
and this next June is gonna be a gubernatorial primary and
So-
state rep,
You're gonna have 3 or 4 pages of town budget, and then you're gonna have several other ballots. You'll have your municipal, you'll have your state, and
yeah, 'cause
water district, so you're gonna have
You're gonna deal with,
probably 5 ballots.
because every rep and state senator is up, right?
Yes.
So, you get that whole, so it's not gonna be a single, let's go in and mark this ballot up and leave. There's multiple ballots, state and everything else.
Well, I'll chop this up and get it back to you, but I'm inclined to do more consolidation than less in terms of,
Well, I think it would make sense. It's like the fire department. We're already consolidated a bit, but hydrant rental, Ross Corner, all that can be rolled into that. That's a vote, right? It's like, I don't know,
Okay, now,
It's an umbrella effect, I think.
right,
what happens when we've got to figure out what happens when
There's a
a
no,
half a dozen of these get down.
you're gonna have, you're gonna have a special town meeting. That's the way we are now.
Till we change the charter. Or unless we.
Come July 1st, how are you going to run those departments?
They're funded the same they were the year before, that was my understanding.
That's the,
Yeah, but that's,
Not yet.
we've got to have a vote of the people in
we
order
could,
to
yeah,
do
we
that.
could, we need to have a discussion of whether or not we wanna put that to a referendum vote. It's, to me, that's a, I guess we'd have to get that from Natalie, that is it's not a significant change to the charter, and I think you could have a referendum vote in November that says, now that we're gonna have referendum budget voting, if you agree that the charter should reflect that in the case of a negative vote, that at a minimum you start, it has to go back for a revote, but in order so you don't shut that department down on July 1st.
Well, it's either that or a 2-month last year's budget.
Or a quarter.
A
right.
quarter, yeah, 2 months or 3 months, and that's it. And then
It's
you're
like,
gonna
I mean,
have
it's-
to have a special town meeting, or the budget, the department is closed down, or whatever, but, you,
Yeah, but it's gotta, we know that's an issue based on the conversations we had last year with Natalie.
I think that we should have Natalie come in and go over this, because I think we've probably got an hour and a half discussion here on how to do it and do it right, rather than,
The big thing that I'd be interested with her is, can we have an administrative question to add something to the charter that doesn't change the intent of the charter?
I can say there's 2 or 3 big questions there of the charter.
We did that a number of years
Yeah.
ago when we changed, the date that we could vote. We went from, it didn't have to be a Friday vote, it could be the Tuesday vote. That was, according to Ken Cole, that was an insignificant change, and we did that in a referendum ballot.
So I think fairly quickly here, we probably ought to set a meeting up with her and,
Yeah, the big question is, when it comes to charters, do we have to have the percentage of vote covered? I would think you wouldn't if it's an insignificant. You're not doing a revision, you're not doing a
They're
rewrite.
single question items also.
Right.
They have to be. So it's a judgment call of insignificant, if that a word, insignificant.
Well, even today, there's nothing in the, if we went out of town meeting with a vote no on an article, we almost did it last year.
Public Works or Fire Department,
Right.
either one of them.
You don't have a budget starting July 1st,
Right, unless you go by money.
and there's
Last-
nothing in the charter that allows
Last
you to.
year would have been a good example of that.
Right.
You had a vote, it went down, they raised no money.
Right,
The department would be closed as of July
July
1st
1st.
until something happened.
so regardless of, we've never had that provision in the charter that would say, if it does get voted down, you've got to bring it back to a special town meeting, we know that, but if it's not done by July 1st, you at least need to continue to run the department.
We've got to do something, because I think as responsible leaders, we can't let the fire department not operate with EMS. I mean, somebody's life might depend on that ambulance, so.
I mean, even a state, if there's a state shutdown, it's for
Essential
only
services are still there.
Essential services are still there, so.
Yeah.
But they're not gonna get paid.
Understand, they're gonna get paid.
No.
No,
no.
everybody will get paid at the end.
Or they'll have a day off.
Right.
They will not collect money when that's shut down. And they've already pulled that.
All right.
So, do you want to
I
have
don't
Natalie,
want to get into that
No.
argument with the state.
do you want Natalie here at 6 on the 18th, and we can do our business with her, and then she can go home and we can continue with goals?
I don't think it would hurt. I think sooner than later, because I think her direction may very well be something that we want to talk about in the goal session. So, not that I want to pay her to.
Well, we can keep her here as long as we need her for that.
Yeah.
That could, and if there's something in terms of lake level petition to chat about with her that night,
Yeah,
we can do
that
that too.
would work.
So that's for the
I was gonna
18th,
say, that would take
6
care of the
o'clock?
lake and
Right.
town
6
meeting.
o'clock, the 18th.
We've already scheduled that anyway, right?
Yes, 3 weeks from tonight.
Okay.
I think we really need to look strongly at what we can consolidate, because Dwayne makes a good point about people working and people going in on a lunch hour, but you know, I also think that we've got, you know, an aging population in the community, and it's difficult for people to stand for long periods of time, and they're not gonna wanna wade through, you know, a document, and we're gonna get a lot of either yes, 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 or no, 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 as, you know, he indicated on the other aspect of it. So,
You know, this, when you look at this,
With
there's
Madeline,
5 or 6 articles that are, we do them every year because we, you know, it's setting the, how much we can charge for interest, how much we pay for interest. I mean, I understand that you got, based on we're town meeting government, but you can't violate the state law, so I'm not sure why we get hung up in
Yeah,
all of
we went
those.
through that years and years ago, and
I think when you make the consolidation, you have to be simple but specific at the same time. So you have all the information they need in as few words as possible that are plain English. So
Yeah,
that
I
they
mean,
can read it quickly, think about it, mark their answer, and keep moving.
But we'll have a, like I said, this won't be the last discussion we'll have.
I'm just thinking that we need to get it pretty well started if we need to put something on that November
Right,
election.
yeah. Okay. Anything else on that?
The other thing is, are we ready to start a new charter commission to look at the charter? Is there anything in that? And if so, then we're gonna need a vote in November to, do you or don't you want a review of the charter? And then in June, you're going to pick your charter members, and then they'll have a year or so to look the charter over.
So, yeah, and then, and when you start to
It's
get
a-
into that, now you're talking about you have to have a certain amount of votes, gross votes,
Yep,
right?
and you wanna do that,
You have to have it at, it's either gotta be at a gubernatorial or presidential.
yep.
So, we were 5 years ago, 6 years now, right?
We'll
When we
be
passed-
into the 7th year of the charter.
Right.
Before getting the charter.
And the
commission
charter says that it should be reviewed every 10 years.
By 10 years.
So if you had a vote in the gubernatorial, I don't think you get enough voters this November. But you could have a vote in June, if you had enough voters, and have the election of
In November.
in November.
Yeah.
But that's all, and the state changed that. It's like, used to be a very short period of time, and it's like
If
200 days.
if we decide that we need to create a charter commission, then we need to be talking about this, because we
Well,
need to put it to the
Natalie
voters first.
could tell us
Yeah.
what are the limitations on what we're gonna be able to adjust without going back to a
And it
charter
may,
commission.
I mean, we may be all right for another year or so, but it takes a year and a half to get this charter commission
it's-
even
yeah.
up and running, so. And then they'll have
To
a,
make the vote levels, it's almost a 2-year
Yeah.
deal.
yeah,
But I thought we put both the people that were running for the charter commission and the charter question on the same ballot.
no,
No? I don't know why you couldn't.
all, you're making a presumption that the people are gonna vote to have a charter commission.
That's true. First question
Because
fails,
if
the rest of
if
it's moot.
if it's
It was a
fails-
2-year,
I think we've done that
deal, and then
before,
it-
because I think we had a vote to have a charter commission and had charter commission members. That's, I think, back down in 2007 when, or somewhere in that, because I remember they voted it down and all the votes for all the people were null and void.
Yeah, I mean, that
So we've
yeah,
done
it
that.
did go down.
doesn't say in here that you can't, so
Right.
she can answer that.
Okay. Where were we? Oh, budget.
Did you see where Hollis didn't, that they're gonna have commercial?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the budget, I think Gary and I have kind of gone over this a couple of times. I know he's scrubbed it again, but relative to what needs to be changed or journaled out of one department into the other, it's only down to a couple of numbers, right?
Well, in terms of the entire budget line for something, there's only one that's gonna be totally in the red, and that's the treasurer through, medical expenses. And everything else in the whole budget, 98% of the year is behind us as of last week's bills,
Yeah.
with 92% expended, so the individual lines in here, you can see, are the only one you might need to move some money to, and I would say probably $3,500 into the treasurer's line from legal or wherever else. And that's really the only issue in terms of health insurance costs there. I mean, she's not the only one. I mean, you go over to the general government line, and that line for health insurance is, between
Well,
myself and two other people, we've had some procedures this year that are very expensive, and
well, we've had that discussion. We didn't put
we're consolidating.
we didn't put the money into, we've now done that, right?
Yes.
There's a fund for drawing out of the reimbursement account, right? Before it was,
It was what's left
That-
over from.
That's
Shame
the
on us
only,
for not having the
that's the
reimbursement.
only account that you need to flip-flop then.
In my mind, that's what I put in my memo to you, in
Right.
terms of there are other lines.
But the bottom line of that one department is the only one that's gonna be in the red.
That's correct.
The leases,
huh?
leases are in the red too.
Who?
Leases,
Yeah, I did see that one.
Well, as of this week, perhaps.
yeah,
The one they had in their packet.
right, the one in that package,
It
the one
wasn't.
that's in this week is in red.
Yep.
Leases is by how much?
$650.
And that's driven by the interest?
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. I don't know how I fell down so much on interest.
Well, one in the packet says we were good.
Right, you were, what Gary has for figures says that right now, Dennis is, as of after I posted everything today. He hasn't gone
Julie's
through.
got today's in her lap. You folks in your packet had last week.
So what do you want? I mean, you really, I guess you have the authority to do that based on the way this is done, but if you want an
I think you only-
affirmation from the board, tell us what you want to do.
Well, then I would suggest you move $3,500 from legal over to treasurer,
So move.
health insurance line.
Second.
Been moved by Wayne, second by Gordon to move to cover the default and the deficit in the treasurer with, from where?
From legal,
From legal.
Legal, yeah.
treasurer,
Any discussion?
You said 35?
35.
All those in favor? Okay, what else? You want to do the leases?
The lease is how much over, Julie?
It's,
600
right at the
bucks.
moment, it's only 6.5.
600 bucks.
650, but we still got-
$650.
Yeah,
Is $1,500 gonna cover everything?
it should, but I don't know what the lease payments are, because they still can come in.
So you only got one more week though, right?
Right,
Yeah, but, yeah, I mean, we only can do what we know. If there's an accrual that comes in, comes
The-
in. Oh,
The lease,
all right.
transfer the zoning board of appeals money to the lease payments. Yeah, I'm gonna have another zoning board of appeals meeting
No.
this month, and it's,
Well, you wanna make
That's a
that, you
wash
wanna make
anyway.
that in a motion to cover
We
the,
got nothing pending.
cover lease shortages by the ZBA?
ZBA money,
I'll second
up to $1,800.
Been moved and seconded, up to $1,800 out of ZBA to leases. Any further discussion?
Seconded by
Second
Ted?
by Ted.
Okay,
All those in favor? Opposed? All right.
thank you. That's it for
So
me.
those are the only two. Okay. Everything else balances out by department.
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
Well, I
we-
mean, we're not gonna, we'll know,
the end of July before we pay all the
Right.
June's bills, but
okay.
that's a routine thing.
All right,
Actually, fiscal year
and we
ends
got,
Friday night, right? Fiscal year ends Friday night,
yeah,
so that just
Right, but
paperwork
we have-
catch up.
right. And we allow July, the month of July, so if a bill comes in and the service was done in June,
Yeah.
it has to be accrued into this fiscal year. Okay, nothing else on the budget. Let's go to, other, vote approve the minutes of the June 6th meeting.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
40
Motion carries
401,
401.
Sherry. And your name won't be on these, Ted, so
Okay.
need to John Hancock those.
All right,
And John wasn't here, so it doesn't matter.
That's right.
yeah, review comprehensive plan, task
Right,
list.
he was
We're gonna resurrect some of that stuff as we get into goals. And anything you want to bring to the agenda next meeting?
I think we ought to discuss the, at least the advertisement or the, potential appointment of a full-time public works director. If we're gonna start pulling pieces out of what Parks is no longer gonna do, I don't think we ought to have somebody there midstream or have nobody there that's gonna be able to do it.
I
I don't understand the point.
Well,
To get the,
advertise.
get
When
the
you-
public works
You ready to
director,
advertise full-time public works?
get him in place,
Sounds like-
and then say, okay, now
Say
you're
that
gonna
one, yeah.
have this and this and this as well.
In my mind, that's the next one we hire, is that one, and then.
Yeah,
rec
when we
and
start
library.
delineating,
The library and rec.
Yeah. Okay,
Here's my suggestion. Let this part-time continue through the 1st of September and, or October, because he's taking care of, let the departments do what they gotta do, because they're already into the season. And try to have a full-time public works director sometime between September and October on board
yeah, you're not
for the
gonna,
winter months.
you're not gonna get somebody tomorrow.
You're not, you can't, and you got, we gotta start advertising it, but you'll be a month, and then if you get a decent man or a lady, they should be working. So,
Give it notice.
they need to give them at least 2 weeks' notice, if not
Yep.
3 or 4,
You're-
so.
It's a good 3 months to get somebody.
Yeah. So, and in that point, we're saving
Well, you say
half of
something.
it, so,
But don't you think that's gonna happen by default anyway? I mean, even if we put the ad out tomorrow, we're gonna give it 30 days.
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like you're gonna say, we're gonna get rid of the part-time.
No,
I hope not.
Okay, all that being said,
you're gonna need somebody kinda coming on to be working with Gary as far as budgets and, projects, and they should be fully involved with the building maintenance and that stuff as far as putting a budget together, so that this new public works
Yep.
should be,
That needs to start earlier this fall.
yeah,
Okay,
should be done before the first snow, so that he or she can take care of know what these buildings are, and it's gonna take 2 or 3 months to bring somebody up to speed.
all right, items needing signature, I think everybody signed.
Did that. Any other agenda items? Feel like got anything, Sherry, that's on your tickler from, you weren't here the last meeting, but I'm thinking we're forgetting something here.
When is the planning board gonna present to us
For the zone
the
changes?
changes, yeah?
They're meeting the 5th I don't remember if their public hearing is scheduled yet, do you recall?
I'm not sure, but they still need to schedule a public hearing.
So they gotta go through public,
Yeah, they've
so
got a
never
while.
mind. I was just thinking that might be it.
But to one comment to that, getting back to SMPDC, Lee J and I talked about this, and he agrees that, a year from now would be a good time for a transition to a full-time person. I mean, he's done all these things in faster fashion that I thought he would, and another year can do even more cleanup, and maybe we just wouldn't need as many man-hours for him for the next fiscal year. But he understands that we would like to have somebody here full-time and those two positions in a town of 8,000 people can do a better job with a little more outreach, help the EDC more, and be a presence here for businesses to talk to other than myself.
Yep.
I think that's a good time to do it. Money.
Yep.
Instead of 35 grand, instead of 50 grand for the two of them between those two functions, we'd be spending, another 25 or 30 in total benefit package, I guess.
Okay,
Even
Can I
if
ask
one
a
of the,
question?
yes,
And now that because I'm back on the library board of trustees, I can ask questions about that. Is there any kind of time frame? Is this anything the board works on, or is this Gary simply in terms of how we go about looking for a library candidate, library director?
And what's the specific question?
library candidates,
Yeah, is that simply?
librarian.
Yeah, since you're talking about the outcomes of town meeting and what comes next, I'm wondering time frame for searching for the librarian.
That job description is farther along than the other two. I mean, that committee helped give me information so that's more ready to go to the MMA website.
So do you have an idea when that might happen?
No.
Okay,
Sooner than
Definitely
later,
in
though.
July.
Yeah.
I mean, I would want to have that posted by the middle of July at the latest.
that's what I'm asking, great,
Yeah.
that's perfect.
And then probably give it a month, at the most, at least 3 weeks for applications.
this is something that we advertise it on the MMA website, but if somebody doesn't go onto that computer and be looking for job openings, the local papers, the 2 local papers that we have, we may have a candidate that's sitting right here in town.
Yep.
And it really discourages me. We got great help, but we have very few residents as town employees. And
Well, how about the state library, is also the Main State Library?
Website.
Because I know that's where we went to find out where there are openings and,
I think that
when we worked up the job description.
the
we
point
worked up
that
there.
Dwayne's bringing up is that we have a tendency to advertise on those statewide,
Right,
but we don't do anything locally, and trying to get, might be somebody just here that we want.
God, you pick up the newspaper and, yeah, there is an opening in Waterboro.
Yeah.
Here I am in Waterboro and I'm traveling to Portland, but they aren't looking at the MMA site. So you're drawing in from people that are working with the MMA site. I mean, that isn't a site that everybody here in town is looking at. And
But there's another library one there, I think, and we'll do a better job using the Smart Chopper. I didn't realize we had not been using them to that extent, so
Okay.
that's a fair comment.
thank you.
All right.
I know
Anything
part of
else?
the issue isn't the Portland Press Herald just getting exorbitantly
Oh.
expensive
Yeah.
to put something in?
You checked a while back.
And,
I was gonna say it's hundreds, but the trouble with the Portland Press Herald, it's $1.75, I think, and nobody's buying it, so.
Right.
But when you start looking at advertising jobs, you know, Indeed, Craigslist, all of those are now, people have moved away from picking up a paper
Yeah.
looking for a job that, you know, so it is becoming an electronic environment, but anyway, we need to look at some of those. But I do think that when we have stuff here, even if it's just a simple ad in the,
I mean, you got
And the smart
electronic
shop or,
sign coming, I believe,
it's-
no?
I didn't pass the.
Oh,
No,
did
that didn't pass.
But, I mean, we do have the bulletin board out here, librarian, now hiring a librarian, right out here on the sign.
Yep.
Are now seeking applicants for.
Just something simple, just,
Even,
Yeah. Remember that next year, budget time, that
I
$15,000
thought
for that
I thought
sign.
that was hidden in.
That
one
got
of
pulled
them
out of the
corners.
budget very easily without
Okay.
resistance from the
I was
Board of
thinking
Selectmen.
that was hidden in the corner.
No, I tried, but you guys took it out.
Okay,
okay. Anything else? If
make a
not,
motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Have a second?
I'll second it for lack of enthusiasm.
Okay. All those in favor? Good night.